Okay, here we have a great question where in each of these numbers where 3 of them have been added up, the middle digits have been mixed up. So the first and last digits are correct, so like this 3 and this 4 are correct, this 5 and this 6 are correct, these are correct, but all the numbers in the middle have been mixed up. And we need to work out how to rearrange the numbers within each number to make this addition work. So try it yourself, and then I'm going to show you how I might do it. So I'm going to write it out like this. 3 blank 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 4. So I'm just including the digits I know and then just leaving boxes for the digits that I don't. And then we can slowly start eliminating options for each one. And there's a 1 here. Now, what we can do straight away is we can start thinking about what sort of numbers have to go in places. So in this last column, we have 4 plus 6 plus 8, which gives me 18, which gives me an 8 down here, which means I have to carry a 1 up there. So that's information I know. I also know in this last column, I have 3, 5, 7, which makes 15. The 1 is going to go here, and then I have some digit going here. Now the options for this is 8, 7, 3, or 0. 8, 7, 3, or 0. Now, how could I add something? I need to work out what was carried, what was up here, what was carried from this row that eventually gave me either 18, 17, 13, or 10. Now, this can't be a 0 because already we've added to 15, and in this column we have a 1, not a 2. So the 0 can't work here. Is there a way to get to a 3 being here, to 13? Well, no, for the same reason. 3 plus 5 plus 7 gives me 15. We've already gone past 13, and it's not going to be a 23 because we know there's a 1 in the final column. So it's either going to be 8 or 7. But which one? Well, 3 plus 7 plus 5 is 15. So either we carry a 2 to get to 7 or a 3 to get to 8. Is it possible to carry a 3? Is this possible? What it means is that this row here, added up to 30 something. Is it possible to add these 3 digits together and get 30 something? Well, no, because the biggest these 3 things could be would be a 6, an 8, and a 5, which adds up to 19, which means nothing that you add to this would get me to a 30. Which means that you cannot have carried a 3 here. This has to be a 2, which in turn means that this number has to be a 7. Okay, so we saw that this one has to be a 7. That's the only option that works there, because we would have had to carry a 2 over. Because out of our options, that was the only one that worked. Now, if this is a 7, we now have options for this one. This can be an 8, 3, 0. This can be an 8, 3, 0. This can be an 8, 3, 0. Now, if we look at this column here, we know that whatever was added to it, so once again, something might have been added to it, carried onto it from the row before, has to end up with 20 something. So that I get a 7 here, a 2 here, and something here. Now what could that be? Well, we saw before that the biggest this could be is 6 plus 8 plus 5. 6 plus 8 plus 5 gets me to 19, and then when I add something to that, that could work. But I could also have 6 plus 8 plus 4. That would get me to 18, and then I could add something to that. Well, once again, we need to think about what is the largest thing that could go here? What's the largest number that could have been carried over? And if we think about it, we need a 2 to be carried here, which means these 3 plus something have to make 20. Which means that this one can't be a 2 as well, because we don't have options for these 3 things to add up to 20 something as well. We need these 3 to add up to 20 something, including this. So if this was a 2, we'd have need these 3 to also add up to 20 something. And we just don't have enough combinations that would make that happen, because we need to use for example, a 6, an 8, and a 5 here. And if we wanted a 4, a 7, and a 4, we'd have to carry something like a 5, which is basically impossible. So this has to be a 1. Or actually a 0, but it can't be a 2. So how could I get to 20-something with a combination of these numbers and adding 1? Well, I could get 6 plus 8 plus 5. That, once again, is the biggest thing it could be. 6, 8, 5. What does that make? It makes 19. Add a 1 gives me 20. There is literally no other way to get a 2 here than 6, 8, and 5. No combination of these numbers would get me to a higher total than 19. And then add the 1, 0 goes there, 2 goes there. And now look, we're getting even closer to what our answer is going to be. So here, we needed something, we need these 3 digits to add up to 1 something, either 13 or 18. And now we can get closer to just a process of elimination sort of thing. What 3 things add 1 would get me a 3? Well, that might be... In fact, we can cross out digits we've used. We've used the 6, we've used the 8, and we've used the 5. We've used the 7, and we've used the 0. So what 3 things could add up to a 3? Well, 4, 2, and 4 would get me 10. That won't work, because add 1 would give me a 1 here. 4, 7, and 2. That's not going to work either. That's going to go too big. Because 4, 7, and 2 would be 13 already, and then I add 1 and there's a 4 here. So actually there's no way to get a 3 in this slot here. No way to get a 3 in this slot when you carry a 1. Because you'd need these 3 things to add to either 2, which doesn't work, or 12, which you can't do. Which means this has to be an 8, and this has to be a 3. So how can I get to an 8? Well, I need these 2 things to add to a 7, so that's 1, 2, and 4. And then what's left? 4, a 7, and a 2. Let's check that works. 4 plus 6 plus 8 is 18. 1 plus 2 plus 4 is 7, add 1 is 8. 4 plus 7 plus 2 gives me 13, so 3 here, 1 here. 6 plus 8 plus 5 is 19, add 1 is 20. 3 plus 5 plus 7 is 15, add 2 is 17. So that's my final answer. 3, 6, 4, 1, 4, add 5, 8, 7, 2, 6, add 7, 5, 2, 4, 8. Altogether is 1, 7, 0, 3, 8, 8. What an absolutely lovely question.